Environment matters, everyone. Coaching matters. Scouting matters. Drafting matters. Your front office matters. Jordan Love has found himself in a really good spot. Welcome back to the Sunship Sports Channel, and welcome back to Green and Gold Till I'm Dead and Cold. Welcome to Week 2 of the NFL football season. The Green Bay Packers travel to Atlanta to face the Atlanta Falcons. What I want to start with first is some breaking injury news. Quay Walker, our second-year, first-round draft pick inside linebacker, has cleared concussion protocols and will play tomorrow. He is officially off the injury report. Left tackle David Bakhtiari, he's going to be on the injury list all year long. I think they're just going to mark him questionable, and as long as he's feeling okay, he can play. And I'm fine with that because when Big Dave is doing well, he's one of the best left tackles in football. Christian Watson, it's a little trickier. He did practice on Friday, but that was the first day this week that he practiced. Will he be ready by Sunday at noon? Not sure. Aaron Jones, I've gone back and forth on this one. I thought for sure he'd be playing this weekend, but as the week has gone on and he had his helmet on Friday, and Matt LaFleur said he did a couple of things, but the fact that he didn't even get one full practice in this week does concern me. Perhaps they're just doing the same thing with him that they're doing with Dave Bakhtiari. Aaron Jones is a phenomenal talent. I don't necessarily think he needs to be practicing each and every week as far as his health goes. And with those hamstrings, as dynamic of a player as he is, you do not want to get him hurt in practice. So hopefully we have all four of them playing for us. I'm going to do this episode as if we are, because that's going to matter a lot as far as game plan goes. If Aaron Jones doesn't play, they're going to elevate up Patrick Taylor. They could elevate him up anyway. If he doesn't play, you're going to have A.J. Dillon getting a heavy dose of carries. You're also going to have Emmanuel Wilson, the sensation from the preseason, who led all running backs in yards in the preseason. And then, of course, Patrick Taylor, who is a really nice Swiss Army knife as far as a running back for the Green Bay Packers. So let's dive right into it. What are the keys for the Green Bay Packers? Well, first and foremost, it comes back to this offensive line of theirs. The Atlanta Falcons have revamped their entire defense, and we'll get into that a little bit later, but they need to protect Jordan Love again. The Atlanta Falcons are going to blitz more. They are going to be playing a very aggressive style of defense. The interior of that offensive line is going to have to do their jobs so that Jordan Love can feel confident stepping up into that pocket. I think David Bakhtiari and Zach Tom are going to do a good job against Lorenzo Carter and Bud Dupree. Although both of those guys are quality pass rushers, I just think our tackles are a little higher quality. If Christian Watson plays, that gives us another great weapon where the safeties won't be able to cheat down into the box. Jordan Love, all he needs to do is continue reading that defense. He is going to pass with more confidence now that he's got one victory under his belt. Romeo Doubs is doing an outstanding job as a pass catcher as well as a route runner. Excellent hands. Something else that might help out the running game, you never want to take a pleasure in an injury, but Troy Anderson, their starting middle linebacker for the Atlanta Falcons, he's going to miss this game. He's out with an injury. Last week, the Atlanta Falcons gave up 154 yards on the ground to a team that I don't think has anywhere near as good of a running game as the Packers do. Green Bay is going to have to deal with the noise. That dome in Atlanta is a tough place to play. It just is. What I would like to see is another heavy dose of our tight end, Luke Musgrave, our slot receiver, Jaden Reed. Offensively, I think Green Bay can move the football against the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta is going to need to use a lot of those new pieces, and boy, do they have a lot. So it looks like they have 6 new starters on the defensive side of the ball. Calais Campbell from Baltimore, David Onyemata from New Orleans, Caden Ellis, new roving linebacker from New Orleans, Bud Dupree, pass rusher from Tennessee, Jesse Bates from Cincinnati, who led them last week in tackles and interceptions, and Jeff Okudah from Detroit. I don't know if Okudah is going to play, but Jesse Bates definitely made his presence felt last week. They also have 3 or 4 guys right behind those guys in the 2 deep that are new pieces. So this is a completely revamped defense under defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen, and Nielsen is known for being a very aggressive play caller. So I think you're going to see the first example of what Jordan Love can do since that debacle of a Kansas City game with a lot of pressure being put on him. I think a heavy dose of the run game, whether it's Aaron Jones or A.J. Dillon, is kind of where you start, and then you nail them with play action. Because I don't think their cornerbacks are going to be able to hand our receivers one-on-one, especially if Christian Watson plays. So those are the keys for the Packers offense against the Falcons defense. Now, what does Green Bay need to do defensively? Well, first and foremost, they have to stop the 3-headed monster. Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, and Cordarrelle Patterson. Patterson is playing this week. He's off the injury list. Tyler Algier had 2 touchdowns last week. Bijan Robinson, the kid just looks like LaDainian Tomlinson. So he needs to work on his blocking a little bit because he's not anywhere near as good of a blocker as Tyler Algier is. But what I would do if I'm the Green Bay Packers is I think you show them a lot of 7 and 8 man fronts. And you say, Desmond Ridder, you need to beat us. Because last week, Desmond Ridder passed for 15 of 18 for a net passing yards of 91. So he did not throw the ball a lot. Didn't have to because they ran the ball so damn well last week. But we have Jair Alexander and Rasul Douglas as our main cornerbacks. And what I would do is I would just stick Jair Alexander on Drake London and Rasul Douglas on Mac Hollins and say, beat us. And then you have Darnell Savage coming down, covering Kyle Pitts. We have some really athletic linebackers in Campbell and Walker that will be able to help out with those tight ends as well. I say you make Desmond Ridder beat us because I don't think he can. I don't think Desmond Ridder is the passer that the Falcons need to be able to take them to the next level. So that would be my game plan. Now, last week I saw some really positive things from our rush defense. If it wasn't for the Justin Fields scramble yards, Green Bay was giving up just over 3 yards a carry. Guys like TJ Slayton, Devontae Wyatt, definitely stepped up last week, as well as Carl Brooks, to help All-Pro Kenny Clark with that rush defense, and they looked really good doing it. It was nice to see Rashawn Gary back in there. Played limited snaps, but in 10 snaps, he had 5 quarterback hurries. So you add that to Preston Smith. We also saw Lucas Van Ness have a really nice game against the Bears last week. They need to continue to pour that on, and like I said, the secondary, I think, is good enough to shut down whatever the Atlanta Falcons have that they could throw at them. My prediction for this game is Green Bay goes on the road, and I think they win, but I think it's 1 score. I don't think Green Bay is going to take the top off of the dome, but I do think they win. I think it's a lower scoring game than our 38-20 victory last week, but I do think that Jordan Love and the offensive line of the Green Bay Packers do enough to win. Folks, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share this to all your friends, comment on it. Go Pack Go, and we will see you next time.